All right, let's talk about animation. So I'm teaching character animation, and I've just been suffering some really painful stuff in Maya, and I basically want to do our final project, at least in an introductory capacity today, as a baseline. So we're doing for our final an old classic of animation, which is the 11-second club. Has anyone ever heard of the 11-second club or even done one?
No.
Heard of it?
Challenge animations.
So this is something that's gone on for decades, which is once a month they release an audio clip. It used to be called 10-second club, and then it died out, and then people restarted it. And so what happens is every month they give you a competition. So this is, let's see, where's the last one? Oh God. So this is the clip from the November one, which is a WAV file.
Call me, you're gonna say, Al, what do you got? And I'm gonna tell him I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did today was nothing.
So the way this works is everyone gets this
When
same
you call
audio
me,
clip.
you're gonna say, Al, what do you got? And I'm gonna tell him I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did today was nothing.
And then you animate off of that. And so this competition is already finished, and you can see some of the people who have submitted here. And you can animate it in any way, in your own style. And it's just something that's kind of a nice way to just build in reps. And the only way you learn animation is by animating. And so they have a couple resources you can use, and a lot of times it's really kind of a clunky, older website. This was also a real pain in the butt for teaching this with Maya. It's like there's no free resources out there for Maya. And also now, like this Norman rig, which is like an old standby, it requires like installing a script in Maya to get it to even work. And it has all these flaws. The rig is from like 15 years ago and such. Somebody made a version of it using Rigify on Blender. So this is Majala Animation, and he just threw it on Gumroad, so you can get it for free. And it's basically the same model that people have been using forever, but with a Rigify rig. We've shown Rigify a whole bunch here. I'll spare you. But we're going to start from that. And what I recommend, if you want to see like who is doing this the best, I think Anim School is. And so like I actually worked with
this banana
Rick Shute, who is a Blender developer and animator and rigger. And he's animated for Sony and a bunch of big clients and big name stuff. And he actually taught at Anim School. So when I was building this course, a lot of what I was doing was just going to other Blender people and saying, can you help me figure out what to put in this? Yeah. So I just love how they set these up, and I'm recommending this to students as how you should portray your animation in a demo reel. Because we have reference, we have a block-in stage, and then the final.
We bitched out Sarah, and she was mad, and I was like, Sarah! My moon sign is blocking the Little Dipper. It blocked the comet that was supposed to hit my astro world, so I can't help it. So now we're good. Yesterday, I totally bitched out Sarah, and she was mad, and I was like, Sarah! My moon sign is blocking the Little Dipper. It blocked the comet that was supposed to hit my astro world, so I can't help it. So now we're good.
Hi. Ow!
What is the matter with you?
So much.
You could consider calling first.
Okay, look, Polly.
No, I can't do this, Larry.
Okay.
I'm serious. It's just stupid.
Hi. Ow!
What is the matter with you?
So much.
You could consider calling first.
Okay, look, Polly.
No, I can't do this, Larry.
Okay.
I'm serious. It's just stupid.
If there's something you really want, or someone you really want to be, then the only person standing in your way is you.
Me? Get him, lads!
No. If there's something you really want, or someone you really want to be, then the only person standing in your way is you.
Me? Get him, lads!
No.
I want to see that ref again. So like the thing that is most important for me is not the finished animation. It's like seeing the ref that they put together.
then the only person standing in your way is you.
Me? Get him, lads!
No.
And like, what is it? Period. I love this also. Like, again, I'd mentioned everyone has to be part of the AV club to do this stuff. So a lot of it is like you shoot your own ref and you have to cobble it together. So you need a certain amount of like video skills, a certain amount of editing skills. I love that. I think he like turned this into a screenshot and then just had it fall. This one too, where he's like cropping himself as like.
Polly.
So theoretically, this is what we're going to pull off, right? Getting a rig to start with is also important, and what I recommend is if you go to Gumroad, you can search Blender rig and find lots of anthropomorphized furries for VR chat. I mean these. Really, all I've been telling my classes is, especially for this final one, it needs to have a face rig so we can do lip sync animation. And so I'm going to be using this file here, which is download Norman rig. This was built with Rigify, so we want to turn on allow execution because Rigify has some scripts in it that help the rig.
Also, don't just allow execution in random Blender files you find on the internet because there's a chance that can have viruses in it.
Oh, does this one not have a face rig?
The face
Oh, never
rig
mind,
is-
it's just off. There we are, good. So this is the guy we're going to be using. If you have never used a rig before, it is an object type, and so it has these different modes, and you just have to go into pose mode. Edit mode is where a lot of the rig is built and set up. Pose mode is where we do the actual animation. And so this is where we'll be like, boop, boop. So next we need our ref, and I'll show you what I shot. I think this has one student in it. But, okay, you guys are not going to understand why this is so beautiful, but man, this is something that Maya users don't get to do. This is a movie file. I'm just going to drag it over here. Oh, never mind.
That'd be an office mode. So.
I'm going to drag this over. And where to go?
Maybe you have to be in. Oh, no, you're in.
What did I do?
It is the other direction.
I bet it's because it's an AVI.
Track the empty and the setting up.
Be in ortho.
UV. Where's the set?
It is all there. See if it drops into the BSC to see if in Blender like recognizes the file.
Whoops.
The AVIs haven't been used.
I know, I bet it's... This AVI only exists because I converted an MP4, thinking that Maya would use that, and then it turns out Maya can use AVIs, but it gets so slow and doesn't know how to handle the RAM issues. And
No, it was there.
video sequence editing. This is also a strange change.
Go to the video editor tab.
Just, I wanted to mention this as a newer change in 5.0. The video sequence editor is sort of like a separate video editing thing, and it's kind of layered on top of your overall Blender scene. And then the new version of Blender, they have a more streamlined infrastructure for this, which is there's always this assumption of a secret archived under the hood AVI. Hey, what's up, guys? Or secret under the hood video sequence editor, and it's just that it's assuming you're not using it. So when you do this, you have to start by adding this, and then it'll assume there's at least one. And so you'll note that the sequence editor is like a separate scene that controls all of your other scenes. Let's see if this works.
Yes.
Yes, sir, he said he wouldn't be able to.
Oh yeah. You're welcome, late.
There's a video editing tab that was probably better for this purpose than just.
Let's see. All right. So this is the ref that I shot in my class. Let me go to frame. Hold on, man. I'll hit Shift S to snap this.
When they call me, you're going to say, Al, what do you got?
I gotta way lengthen this.
Why is your hair so gray?
Thanks a lot.
Age.
Oh.
On that ref.
It looks like you in the future.
It's
When they
it's
call
probably
me,
'cause
you're
I was
going to
getting
say,
old.
Al, what do you got? And I want to tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did today was nothing.
I think it builds up the RAM. And so these
Call
are
me, you're going to say, Al, what do you got? And I want to tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did today was nothing.
And so we shot a bunch of things, and like, you know, you take your best chunks and you cobble them together, and you can see like I've got a mix of stuff here, which is on one hand, like I'm not actually using these until like. So these earlier shots are just like these are for my like lip sync, or like trying to get like what is the close up of the face.
When they call me, you're going to say, Al, what do you got? And I want to tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did today was nothing.
So over here I've got my own face, and I'm trying to like think about how can I like take the best chunks from everything. Like I really like this nothing, and then I have like this like angry like I gotta like scratch my own face.
What you did today was nothing.
And I'm like grabbing my own face right after saying nothing. By the way, if you do this like 11-second club stuff, you definitely get these audio clips burned into your brain forever. Has anyone ever done like an audio clip challenge like this? I've done a couple of these, and like I can remember every line verbatim from every single time I've done one. One is from Pulp Fiction, which is, this is a tasty burger. It's just this dumb little clip that if you listen to it forever, it's in your head.
I haven't done the full thing, but I've done animatics, which is hard enough.
Yeah. What's the other one? Hats, coats, galoshes. Everything. Gather everything. We have so little time and so much to see. And that's from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I animated that one, and it's stuck in my head forever. And then the last one I've done was, let me actually see if I can find this.
I remember you doing that one, or I remember hearing that in the context of Blender. So that was probably you.
Yeah, I think I was using a lip sync tool with Blender. I was using Papagayo back in the day. Papagayo is kind of abandonware, but I do want to talk about rhubarb lip sync, maybe.
You met the guy who made that, although that was also.
Oh yeah, Nick.
That was also in 2014, I want to say.
The guy who made Papagayo or rhubarb?
The guy who made Papagayo.
Oh. Well, now I know the guy who made rhubarb, and he's also cool.
Well,
Nick Albarelli, he's a Blender guy.
It was when you were volunteering at the creative booth. Like someone asked me about like, what lip syncing stuff is used in Blender, and I was like, oh, Papagayo is a thing, and it's like, oh, I made that. And it's like, Oscar, come over here.
Mm-hmm.
You might have been there too.
The first one I ever did was popcorn, peanuts, cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids.
I've only been to one. I've only been to one stage.
I got one more I'm trying to find. Let's see if I can. files,
Just, yeah, meeting people or some interactions, I guess. But when I feel careful, like, I will introduce myself by saying hi for the first time and, like, choosing mutual language.
I'm Joey.
What was this?
Some of this stuff is
That's
so.
11-second club is where you get 11 seconds of audio and then you animate to it.
But he acted it out instead?
No, he acted it out as reference.
Yeah.
You animated already?
I have not. So we're gonna try and at least cover some of it. I'm trying to find my. There's one more that I found recently of like an old 11-second club. Let's see.
You don't have that long.
Did I post it on Discord? I think I did.
I added to it several times.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You added to it.
A few times.
Like when it forces you to reset. Like when it forces you to.
No, just like I don't know why. It might have just been I don't know if I had it, but I wasn't happy with it. Oscar, you have 124 notifications on Discord.
Yeah, let's get 224. All right, I'm gonna give myself 30 more seconds of trying to find this file, and then I'll give up.
I'm sure there's no more people.
All right. Good enough. I'm gonna go back to my animation layout.
You're gonna see the whole one.
I don't know. I think I might have to be in order to like see the video.
It had a drop down in the in the video edit video mode. It had a drop down. Like in the sequence circuit stuff at least.
Cool. Oh,
like there.
That's good. Let's go back. I think I can change this. I think I have to like add the. Header. Flip to top. I think if I make this a video sequencer. Is it video? Okay, yeah. So it's a video sequencer, and I want it on preview mode. But I'm trying to have it in the animation tab.
Oscar.
Casino 1. And I want this to be on preview mode. Let's see. Over here. It's down there.
I think it's where it says sequence.
Yeah, but where do I change it to?
I think it's where it says sequence.
There we are. Preview. Okay, there we are. Good to go. So now I can like look at this while animating. We can start getting something set up, right? Oh, this one needs to be also way long. I think the other thing I want to do here is the actual.
You're gonna say, Al, what do you got?
The actual animation starts when this video footage is. Like I think that's where the audio clip is. So I'm gonna go like. So this is where I want to be. So I'm gonna grab this and actually hit G, negative 105.
You can also cut it with Y, I think.
Yeah, what if I want to get it back?
When they call me, you're gonna say, Al, what do you got? And I'm gonna tell
So
them I
this
ain't
one,
got
this
nothing.
picture of me is supposed to be like the other person
It's
sitting at the
nothing.
table.
What you did today was nothing.
And now I think we can start animating.
Is that from a movie or something?
Yeah, it's an audio clip from I mentioned. Oh yeah, you were late. This is your own fault, Vinny. Yeah, this is the 11-second club. It's like an animation monthly challenge that everyone gets like the same audio clip from a movie or a TV show, and then you all animate against it.
What's the movie?
I think it was an old like. I had to look it up, and
It's definitely John Goodman.
yeah. So it was the November one. Yeah, it's John Goodman from.
Oh,
It's from the movie Always, 1989. I'd never heard of it, but it looked kind of like a cool promise.
Cool. Have you done this before? Have you participated before?
Yeah, I've done like 2 or 3 of these over the years.
Nice.
It's about like
Every dream has a story.
That's it right there.
And this is the
Please die.
I think it was also Katharine Hepburn's, not Katharine Hepburn, Audrey.
Hey, Mayday, we have a major blow-up situation here.
I love it. I love it in the kitchen, baby.
Negative, Sandage. Get out of the sky.
He was the luckiest flyer alive.
Probably real
good.
hot.
I was rusty on Panic.
What special effects?
You magnificent pagan god!
Where'd you get that oil on your face? Where? Well, it's here. It's here. It's terrible.
So tell me you love me. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Oh, tell me, tell me.
Then one day,
Pete, that dive is way too steep. Get up!
I'll spare you the rest. He dies and comes back as an angel to watch over his widowed wife, and has to process as a ghost, like helping the next guy come and like be a
Wingmanning the next guy?
yeah, wingmanning the person who comes in his dead wake, which you know is a complex emotion to process. What a strange angel. This camera, get out of the way. So how do we start doing this? Let's start with our blocking phase. So the blocking phase, I'm going to try and set all of my animation to a certain setup.
Nothing.
Did this not go to the right spot?
Are you taking suggestions? Because I think you can make like the table bounce when you hit it.
Start with blocking. One step up.
Well, now I'm in a weird thing where it's like,
When they call me, you're gonna say, Al, what do you got?
Are you going to
Sync time at the bottom of the.
No, you go edit. No, you don't want 16 times, because then you'll go to negative, or you, because you can click it. Go to edit. Go to edit preferences.
edit, preferences,
System.
this.
And if you scroll down, there should be video sequence remember. memory cache limit.
What did I put it to? 1 million?
Try doubling it. You think the computer?
It'll be fine. Everything's fine.
When they call me, you're gonna say, Al, what do you got?
So I need that to show up over here on time.
When they call me, you're gonna say, Al, what do you got?
Okay, now it's timed up.
And I'm gonna tell them I ain't got nothing.
Oh wait, where'd the rig go? Oh, is this something where it's like...
Yeah, go to scene 1.
It's not moving it in the other.
Yeah, it's like this one can't be...
Go to playback and see if Oscar, not there. No, playback under. No.
Up here?
There.
Play audio. Play in active editor. Yeah, it might just be something where like switching it here means it switches it here, so it can't be on both at the same time. I suppose the other thing I could do is just add this in over here as a main rig. Actually, maybe what I need to be doing is so here I can have this video sequencer in both of them. Why can't I do it over here?
Are you sure it's not the same?
I think it is. I think it might be. Where was that button? I already forgot it.
It's under playback.
Playback.
No.
Playback. No, I don't see it. Play every frame. Sync to audio.
No, that's yeah. Follow current frame. Maybe.
Framing.
When they call me, you're gonna say, Al, what do you got?
Okay, it's working.
And I'm gonna tell them I ain't got nothing.
It's not synced.
Oh yeah, as in like it's not syncing here.
No, playback not there.
Is it under advanced?
Playback.
Play inactive editor. Try that. Play in.
Play in active editor.
Do that. No.
Because you're nothing.
Oh yeah, it's like these are separating. Oh, this is the problem. I think that one was set to active editor.
What you did today was
nothing.
Another idea is you have the movie clip editor that's usually used for tracking. You could just do a manual offset in the frames there.
I mean, what I really wish is I could just have this as a image, which I think I could do if I had the original MP4.
Yeah, try going back into the.
Oh, this one. Now it worked. All right, never mind.
You want to transfer the frames on the.
Yeah, so I need the offset here. Okay.
Yeah.
Screw this. Screw this VSC. I think I did need it for the audio though. So now if I go over here, this one also needs to be X amount of frames. And then I want the start to be negative 105.
No, you want to be positive.
Yeah, 106. What's it?
Oh wait, no, you're right. You want to be negative. Sorry.
See, it's AB Club. You're gonna have so much stuff set up.
Okay, what exactly is AB Club?
Audio visual. So it's in like high school, the kids who get to play with camera equipment or like put together something that's shown at the assembly.
When you say, what do you mean?
I mean, you have to know like how to like render, like put a video on YouTube. You know.
Okay, all right.
What are you thinking?
I'm sorry.
Perhaps in the high school, you see the smoke machine.
That's awesome. Yeah, we did everything.
This is the calls for the moment.
Alright, this is a shower here. See if they're running the campus first.
30 seconds, guys. Make sure it's working.
All right.
This game is pretty small.
I don't really know what's happening. Is it kind of,
That and mops.
yeah, I like the kind of separate bottle. I don't know why. So many buttons.
I just want to double check that this is also on the right frame.
When they call me, you're gonna say, Al, what do you got?
Okay. Yeah, negative 105 frames. Ooh, it's getting chunky.
Can you go to the,
Do you have any background stuff running?
Probably.
This is just, it's capturing, it might be capturing.
Sync to audio, play over frame, frame dropping.
Frame drop will probably be what you want.
So
It's still good.
when doing audio stuff. That's what I typically do when doing audio stuff.
I mean, it's possible that now I want to delete this. Can I split just the?
You should just delete them, because I think they're trying to play. They might be.
Well, I'm worried like I'll delete the audio, or like I have my doubts about whether. No, let's just see. Will it let the reference image that I brought in play the audio? The other thing that would be good is if this could just be like in the image editor.
So the movie clip editor is the equivalent, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if like having it in 3D is causing it to slow down.
It shouldn't.
You don't think that's it?
No, unless it was really badly coded.
Oscar, what's your rendering play sampling set to?
That shouldn't matter. It's just the video is videos are very big files.
It's not compressed at all.
What?
It's not compressed.
You need to decompress them so you can play them at full speed.
Let's also normalize to this. Like, there's things that you can do to speed these up, but a lot of times, this is where you do end up with something where you tend to like just render on the fly, and then you watch the video afterwards, and that's how you check against your stuff. So I'm going to delete this camera, and let's instead start with a little bit of layout. So nothing fancy. I'm just going to make a cube. Something as a base table.
When you do something like that, can you replace it with a better prop, and which will be at the same animation trail?
Yeah. So one way I've seen this broken out is like this classic meme. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I always go back to this one because they have like a funny retort to it somewhere. So this is like the idea of like the overall animation pipeline, and right now what we're looking at is the layout stage, which is, can you just have all of the components in the right spot in like a low fidelity version that you animate against? So that's like, can you block in basic props? The other thing that comes with layout is staging your characters and your camera work. That's something that I think is a little bit flawed in my approach here, in that like I think I'm going with this idea of, you know, this side shot where you can get like some of the body language. But would there be a camera cut where we switch to something where it's closer to this like in my face view of one character or the other. And so, if you compare that to like the anim school stuff, I think what I like about maybe it's all these tabs I have open.
Are you using? Yeah, you're using Chrome, which is well, you're using basically Chrome, and it's very bad with memory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Chrome-based browsers are bad. Like they sandbox everything, which makes those, it makes an empty page take like hundreds of megabytes.
So like the one thing I like with these as a comparison to my workflow where I feel a little sloppy is all of their blocking is solved in their ref. So a lot of these are just default camera shots, but they're thinking about camera shots as part of the animation process. It's not just does the motion look good. This one is like an example of where they cut to this. So I don't have the camera cuts in mind, and I feel a little bit like that's gonna do me a disservice later. And a lot of times this is something where if you were going back to that pipeline shot, maybe this would be solved in the storyboard. And so the layout is sort of what you do before blocking, and it might just be like nothing more than this. Like, let's go back over here. First off, do I have my camera? I'm going to add a camera now. And I'll hit Control-Shift-0 to make it go to my view. I'm going to use view, camera to view to make this a little easier to like place. And I really like these sort of formal composition shots is how I think of them, where it's like a straight ahead, almost like an orthographic view where you can see things from the side, almost two-dimensionally. And so like this might be my blocking stage is I'm just getting the basic camera in place, and also actually what I would probably want to be doing is having two separate versions of this character that I'm importing. But for now, actually maybe I can't do that. Can I import, or can I append, can I link a group from its own file? I don't think so. But so like, just imagine as like we're not going to get to both characters, but imagine I also have one where it's like this represents the guy who's sitting on the other side, you know.
You just do it like a instance.
Yeah, like the way that I would want to do this, I think, would be actually instancing the group from this file into a separate file twice. But I'm inside of this file, and you know we're burning daylight, so I just want to go with it. So this is like my blocking phase, or my layout phase. I can even save this, call it. Layout. And now for the blocking phase. So in the blocking phase, I start by just getting key poses in place. And thanks to my ref, I should be able to find some of that. Oh, you know one other thing? I think I might have a frame issue. Let me double check this. How do I set frame rate?
It's in that panel.
Frame rate. Okay, yeah, that's something I want to check. I think I might have a problem in which this is, I think this video file might be at 30 frames a second. If you're not sure how to figure that stuff out, you can always just start right-clicking on these and looking in the metadata. So if I go to Properties, this is under Details, 30 frames a second. Blender's default is 24 frames a second. So I was starting to notice this, like, why is this not starting on frame 1? And I think it's because that was off. So hopefully now. Let's look at this object. I bet this one also has.
It doesn't have frames per second.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this. just always worry about this stuff. Alright, it's fine. Maybe what I need to do is offset it a little more. Oh yeah, I think there's also a way you can view the audio spike in your timeline. And if this is just never gonna what this sync to audio.
Try going into the video, the video editing, and then no,
that's not right here.
I still
and
think
changing
your,
the scene from scene 01. No, not there.
I think your viewport rendering setting samples are too high for that video.
No, that's not something that would matter.
I mean, the other thing I would maybe do if I was worried about this stuff.
And then add in the audio clip or the video clip.
I'll add it here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start here. GX -105.
When they call me, they're gonna say, Al, what do you got? And I'm gonna tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing.
Okay, good. We got it.
You might want to delete the video from the...
This one?
No, from the video, or one of them. You probably don't want both of them going at once.
When they call me, they're gonna say, Al, what do you got?
This is what
and I'm gonna tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing.
I can animate against that ref really well now. So I'm going to start with this default pose. All right, an hour into it, and we're finally ready to animate. Typical animation. Let's talk about this Rigify rig also. This is going to start with probably the default, which is each one of these objects in here is its own little object that you can hit G, S, or R and pose with it. And every rig is kind of like its own graphic user interface, and therefore it's like its own piece of software that you have to learn. The benefit of this being a Rigify rig is Rigify is everywhere in Blender. We've used it many times in Seabug, and the benefit of this is if you know Rigify once, you can kind of know it forever. So I'm going to go over here and select literally any of these hand objects, and down here on item, there's going to be this IK or FK switch. And what I want is, I probably also need to turn some of these on. I'm going to turn actually every single rig layer on. These are the rig layers, and what you can do is, if you want to look at only one of these at a time, you can click on the star and isolate it.
You should turn on the
yeah, probably the ones I don't want. I don't want the root, because that's really something where it's like the whole character moves with that. I don't want the tweak ones. I'm not going to use leg FK. I'm not going to use, I'm going to have both arm IK and FK on, because I'm going to switch between these. I'm going to basically have my hip bone and my hands are going to be on IK, and I'm going to basically move and control these all at the same time.
And you're going to have to put them on the table.
Yeah, because basically once your arm is standing still, you don't necessarily want it having animation moving. We'll talk about IK and FK shortly. And I'm not doing anything with fingers or face yet. Maybe a little bit of finger. Torso, yes. Face, no. Face, no. Face. So this is where I want to be. And now, let's talk about the difference between IK and FK. These stand for inverse kinematics and forward kinematics. And right now, I have both my arm here and... so this arm is set to inverse kinematics, which means as I move this around, it's going to match this placement. And I can animate against my ref there. kind of like there. And this is going to point that. So with inverse kinematics, you have one object which determines a point in space, and the bone setup will infer what angle goes between this point and this point. And the benefit of this is anything that stands still for a while, otherwise it's going to inherit this motion. So like when I plant a foot, that's like feet are almost always on IK, because all the time you're planting it, and I want to be able to move my whole body while the foot stays still and have like the bones interpolate between them, right? This is IK, or this is FK, and this is instead going to have a parental hierarchy that cascades down from parent to child. So when I move this torso bone, you'll notice one hand is standing still, but the other one's not. And so that's sort of the difference between IK and FK. And you can switch them over here. So I'm going to keep my feet on. Okay. Is OBS still going? No. So this is like how I do, a starting block-in phase is just get some of these basic poses down. Or at least like one start pose. Actually, I like the hands on the hips thing is close enough that I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to select this hand controller and the IK aiming constraint tool, and I'll hit Control-C to copy this pose. Then I'm going to hit Control-Shift-V to paste it to the opposite side. The one problem is that this one is not on FK, so I'll go like that. And there we go. As a very bare minimum, this is at the very least kind of in the right spot,
So you just press the symmetry button for the other arms on the hip?
Yeah. By the way, this is so awful. Yeah, so what it is like, if I move this one up, this object is foot IKL, and this is foot IKR. If I hit Control-C and Control-V, it will paste this pose. If I hit Control-C and Control-Shift-V, it will paste the opposite limbs pose to the same one. So obviously I don't want to do that. But this is pretty close to what I want as a start point. When in doubt, I can go back to my camera and view it. I need to get some of that. Some of that in there. There's a number of ways that you can animate blocking phase. So in the blocking phase, I don't want any smooth animation, and a lot of times I'm just looking for the major poses. And there's a couple of approaches you can use. I like to start with this, basically one solid pose that's definitely in there. And then I'm going to switch to focusing on just like my key center of gravity here. But this is a pretty good start point, right? Maybe I need to have the foot up. Oh, I need to have the feet on opposite poses.
How much of that does Blender automate?
What's that?
How much of that does Blender automate, stuff like center of gravity?
It's basically this control.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is like, you'll see it in a moment, but like, let's say you were doing a walk cycle animation. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes you might do key poses like from here to here. But the other way you can do it is start from just this idea of center of gravity. So maybe you get your starting pose, and then your first animation to pass would just be like this. So just making sure like you get that first bounce. And then the second thing you might do is like, these are your two major masses, and this, like, if you're counting all three. And there's this theory that everything all the way down is, what's the term? It's all follow-through animation, or like follow-through and overlapping action. So if you've done like the bouncing ball, follow-through and overlapping action is the next stage, which is what if you had a ball with a tail? Or like a pendulum animation is one that is really common. If this moves, oh, can I actually use a pendulum? So if this is the one controlled, a pendulum animation would be animating like the three bones for this like descending tail. And so like this would be your center of gravity. Or if you were doing a bouncing ball, it would be like this is your bouncing ball and the mouse is the tail coming behind it. The theory is that like arguably the entire human body and everything we ever animate is all just tails that are falling behind us. And so like you should start with this because everything else is going to descend from that. So when I go up like this, my chest is feeling the secondary or like the overlapping action, and then my head gets that from the chest, and so you have these like whip-like motions that go all the way down. So that's the logic behind like starting with just animating this.
What I usually do is I bend the knee to where the most extreme part of the pose, and then I use that as my base for the torso to bring the torso down so that it matches the bend in the knee. That way I don't have to match the floor.
I'm using RXX. With bones, it's really handy to know the difference between doing a basic transform in object or in global versus local. If you have, like, just as a example here, here's my cube. So if I rotate this in space, like imagine this is an arm bone. A lot of times, if I hit RX, this is now animating on this global x-axis, which is sometimes what you want to do. A lot of times I'm using double R for something like an arm or a leg, because that lets me use trackball posing. But a lot of times, what if I wanted to do something like this? This is like a singular axis that I want to access. And so RXX will be the local x-axis, and usually it's YY or ZZ. So like a lot of times, you might use RZZ to animate on this, because if your rig is set up correct, a lot of times this is the ideal axis that you would animate. And so I'm doing that right now on this foot here. Like if I go to this foot, I could just animate a toe tap like this. That's fine. But it has these default axes. So RXX, this is like set up so that it's definitely like the angle that this ankle would twist, right? So using local axes is a very handy thing when you're setting these things up. And usually what I do at this point, if these are like my main controls that I'm going to be using, I'm going to grab everything and hit I for insert. And now I'm going to scrub this animation and find my next key pose. It's probably there when I look away. Yeah? Quaternions? I understand the ways that I don't understand them. Like, so the theory behind it is like, it's, I think it's like, you know, Joey's definitely gonna.
Oh yeah,
you're ready to. Joey's like, I'm gonna talk so much shit about Oscar's explanations. You know, Euler's would be like X, Y, and Z as like almost like a tripod of a telescope. Quaternions is like the weight of. I give up.
Theory here. Yeah,
yeah, it's like
you can think of it maybe abstract in this way to describe the rotation of a one-dimensional line. You need 2 dimensions because you're rotating it. In 3 dimensions, you need 4 dimensions to more generally and exactly represent a 3D rotation.
Yeah.
And with Euler, you're having to simplify or reduce down the space. Like the classic thing you run into if you use Euler rotations is that if you try and loop something over multiple times, spin many times on the same axis, at some point it just goes back or it snaps back to, like, it doesn't actually keep spinning. It's like goes back to the original, like, first cycle.
I think Blender doesn't do that. I don't think Blender does that.
It does. I've done that before. Unless they've done some weird things to like get around the fact that you're not having enough dimensions to work with.
Like
matrix math stuff.
The holistic explanation that I know is like, imagine you have the center of this, and there was a point on this sphere coming out, and there was another point. Quaternions are better for like determining what would be the ideal path to go from this point to that. And it's something to do with like the weight, like of the X, Y, and Z going from that point to that.
The W is actually not special. It is the exact same as the other.
But this is also a problem I've been having in my animation class.
It's because WXYZ is just another letter stands for another axis.
So it's the 4D representation of a rotation.
Usually I experience this in the form that, I mean, for the sake of rigging, you might have to go and learn that stuff, and that sucks. For the sake of animation, usually the extent of your quaternion knowledge that you need is the idea that if you're ever like animating and suddenly the arm or leg goes bloop, bloop, what's happened is it might have screwed up, and I think maybe the way to explain it is if I was going back to that idea of like,
A monkey would be better than your show. Oh yeah.
So if I'm trying to do that, like I'm going like this, I'll go. Sometimes what happens is quaternions will be like, nah, this is a better route, and so like sometimes you have to like switch the order to say no, please do not do that.
You can't switch the order.
Or rather, I think like it's not that they switch the order; it's like they change the.
The problem with quaternions is they're very hard to visualize.
Yeah.
They're better in pretty much every way other than that, but you can't really use the graph adder on them.
Isn't it kind of like your joints are set up to like move one direction in Euler, and then with quaternions it's like having a ball joint where you would normally have a hinge?
Euler's can also be like this.
Yeah. Eulers can also
Yeah.
work like that? I thought that caused gimbal lock.
They can, but the difference is mainly quaternions done from gimbal lock, and you can't really visualize them that well in the graph editor. Well, most people can. XYZ or Eulers are much easier to visualize.
Gotta play 4D golf to understand 4 dimensions. Okay. Maybe that's not just window.
Here's another question of like, what's the best procedure? At this stage, I have my second pose. Should I grab everything and insert a keyframe on everything, or just the things that I've changed? Both have their benefits and drawbacks. I like at the blocking stage to assume that if it's big enough for a blocking single pose, it's worth keyframing everything.
You can always...
And I can always delete later, you know? So this is something that I need to change, right? I have pose 1 and pose 2, and it's interpolating. So normally this, like if you look, I hold this pose until right here when my head changes. But it's actually doing everything all at once. And so what I need to do is, this is another thing that's with animation. I'm going to grab everything over here. I think I can even do this over here. By the way, Control Tab switches between. Ooh, what does Tab do here? I don't know what this is, but I love it. I've been hitting Tab on these.
It's showing you the F curve, I think.
Yeah. You can switch between a couple things, like timelines. The new thing with 5.0 is theoretically everything is a timeline. There we are. So there's like 3 different ways that you can look at this. Oh, I actually didn't need to do this. This can do the timeline.
I think in 5 they got rid of the timeline.
Yeah, well the other idea is like theoretically every animating window is a timeline. I just didn't realize that I have actually.
I think there's still the play. I think they didn't get rid of it. I think they just kind of made it obsolete.
I sometimes prefer to be in, instead of the animation editor. Oh, this is the dope sheet. But why are these long?
What it is they used to need the timeline to be able to hit the play button, and now that's integrated into both the dope sheet and.
This is weird though. Like, why are these keyframes not grabbable here? But if I made a new one over here, oh yeah, this is broken here too.
Samsung wasn't able to buy RAM from Samsung.
Oh, did I accidentally like lock it?
It was companies within Samsung.
I don't know what happened.
And Crucial, actually, they're ending Crucial. Or I think that's the name of, the RAM. They just are only producing for AI. Oh, wow. Warehouse.
These are the channels that I want to animate, and they're all locked here. I think that was just a quirk of the rig. And I can have this back on my timeline. So we have two different animation windows here. The graph editor, where you can see something like how these things actually move. Let's set this to only selected. So these toggles are like look at everything versus only the selected stuff. And if I select everything now and I zoom these, you can see this slight change in motion here where the pelvis goes up. I'm going to right click on, I'm going to select everything, and hit V. And I want everything to be, no, maybe it's Control T. Not vector. Interpolation mode, constant. And so now what's going to happen, again, one more time, you find that under, and this file is just driving me nuts. This file has like all of the headers on the bottom.
That's probably because it's old.
I bet it's a Maya user.
No, I think it might just be old.
Yeah, I think so too. So now you'll notice all these basically are going to be like really choppy.
When they call me, you're going to say, Al, what do you got?
When it switches that pose. Right here.
And this is also the stage where you want to adjust like timing the key poses, right?
Yeah. Right here, I'm going to select everything and hit Control C. We go over here, and I look that way, and then I look back. And I'll hit Control V to paste it back in there. And hit I. At this point, I'm going to go here. This is my next key pose. Right on there. And I'm also going to, my hands go from my hips, where they're basically locked, to suddenly being up in space. And now I want to be able to use arcs. So for that, I want to be able to move like this. The way arcs are one of the other animation principles that are really important. And a good example of this that I've been looking at with, what was it? I told my son to do some jumping jacks the other day. He wanted something from me, and I was just like sending him arbitrary tasks. And like Felix, you guys met Felix. He does this thing where he'll like go like this, as opposed to like this. So this is the jumping jack, and it's arcs, and like there's several things where Felix is. It's almost like he moves his body in an interpolative, non-arc way. But it's like just, it's fun to watch. He moves like a beginning animator project. So for this, I'm going to switch at this point. I'll actually go back to that last keyframe. By the way, you can use up arrow and down arrow to jump between keyframes. And I'm going to also right-click and insert a keyframe on this IK/FK hand attribute here. Any sort of property in Blender, you can...
most properties.
Yeah, most properties you can keyframe. So then going back over here, right around here is where I want this to be. I'm actually going to, at this point, have this be back to FK. And you can see that this already converted to being in these other places.
There are buttons there that can help you out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you really like the joy of using IK, I'm going to set this temporarily down.
do IK to FK.
Yeah, you can basically get the like this is sometimes a lot more satisfying because I'm using one control to position my hand, right? I'm starting to move in a little bit. I'm starting to rotate my torso a little. Use period to zoom in on stuff a lot. So if you prefer animating like this, what you can do is use IK to get your starting pose in place. And then I'm going to use this button that says FK to IK, which will make my FK bones actually snap to that. I'm once again going to use my other trick, which is I'll just select my FK controls, forward kinematics. So I have the FK control for the hand, arm, and forearm. And I'll hit Control C, Control V, just to get a starting point. This is pretty close, and so I'm going to select everything and hit I, just to have something in place. And also at this point, I'll go forward and backward one frame, just to reset this because I had that keyframe that set this to FK. And now I can just work from an FK standpoint, which is I think I want this to be a little more cartoonishly out. His shoulders probably don't need to be posed at this point, so I'll rotate them back. Because it was going from this, where my shoulders are back, like there. They come forward a little bit. But the default, like for a lot of these poses, is down. So if my arms are up, my shoulders should be doing this too. I think maybe he's leaning forward a little bit too much. At this point, I lean forward. And ironically, at this point, I also need to switch back to FK. So I'm going to, or back to IK because the hands are going to land on the table. So I'll insert a keyframe on my IK FK switches. I'm lazy, so I'll hit Control C on this pose, Control V on this pose, start getting my fingers in place. The finger bones on Rigify are fun because I can hit R to rotate a joint, and I can hit S to scale, which will actually, the scale controls on these are set up to basically
Curl?
Yeah, curl it. So if I have all these, we'll set all these keyframes here just in case. I'll come back to it, but I just want to see my finished pose. I just wanted to make sure I get that like idea of like where the fingers are landing. So it was a little bit blurred. Yep.
Wasn't there like a
Yeah, let me get that on. Edit. Preferences. Under extensions, allow online access. I think it's screencast keys.
So it used to be called self-efficient.
Oh, it might be. This actually might not be something that I can get now because I think they changed the security issues on this computer. Refresh remote. Oh wait, there we are. Refresh local. Screen. Save. No, this. It's interesting, like, if you've ever animated, one thing I've noticed is like it takes so much like mental like capacity once we start like messing with timing that like I've noticed like I can sculpt while listening to music or watching TV. I can do certain things at like a lower brain power, but animation is one that like I can't. But I did want to fix these fingers to be a little bit tilted like they're bent against the table. This is another one that I use a lot, which is, do I want to use all of these animated, or do I want each finger to individually be rotating from its individual origin? So if I use period and space, you can see that I can switch my bounding or my pivot point. So if I'm on individual origins, now if I did R, X, X, it'll animate each individual finger. I'll hit Control C, Control Shift V to change all those other ones. And at this point, I'm actually going to switch to a different method, which is I want to maybe like just get one keyframe for every single thing that I need. Oh, this is going to drive me nuts too. I'm going to leave my foot up for these because I'm still tapping them. But around this pose, I'm actually going to. Can I change this?
There is roll-on code properties.
I just wanted this like not to be rotated here at this point because I'm not tokening the. So probably at this point, just to show the opposite way of doing blocking, maybe I would just get my pelvis and chest and head for all these other poses. And I'll jump between them too.
This down.
And if I'm doing all these, maybe what I want to do for a moment is actually turn off everything except If I have just torso isolated, yeah. I'm going to switch to isolating just my torso, so that the only bones I'm really concerned about are like these major couple of ones that I'm looking at. And I'll hit an keyframe on this just so that I know it exists. Right around here. This is the last point before my other foot starts coming forward. I'll select everything and hit I. Obviously, there's problems here. I need to animate the hands. I need to animate where this table moves. But I can just do this block-in phase of maybe getting these earliest ones. Even the idea, like here, at this point, the character will have stood up and turned away and started walking away. Oops.
When they call me, you're going to say, Al, what do you got? And I want to tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did today was nothing.
I'm going to turn off isolation, and again, select everything everywhere. Select everything over here. On this, I probably somewhere in here are these other things where the keyframes are still on the wrong interpolation type, so I'll turn them to constant as well.
And I want to tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did.
So this is about as far as I wanted to get today, which was some blocking information. What do you do after this? I would block way, way more. I think one of the pieces of advice I've gotten in the past about what separates beginner and expert animators. Expert animators spend forever in the blocking phase, and they eventually get so much breakdown in their keyframes that it's practically entirely animated by hand. At which point they select everything, and then only at that time do they go in and say, I'll select everything, right click and choose interpolation mode, Bezier. And then they start messing with the fine minutia of it. But the blocking phase is so key. And the other thing is if you're animating freely, a lot of times right now it's very easy at this stage to grab this and try these different timing movements that massively change what this ends up looking like. So at this stage, you really want to be getting all the timing down as solidly as possible. But yeah, that's sort of how I would start a sort of 11-second animation. Love and hope. Any questions for me, guys?
Did you show the 4 keyframes that you have with the
The 4. Wait, one more time.
Could you show with the interpolation just the 4?
Oh, what would it look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's select everything, and just for the sake of it. Oops, don't do that.
You mean as is, or?
As in, if I did change it to Bezier.
Yeah.
When they call me, you're going to say, Al, what do you got? And I want to tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did today was nothing.
I'm pretty surprised at how well that worked. But the more you break it down, the more satisfying it's going to be when you finally do that.
Do you use the draft much when animating?
Eventually I do. No, actually. That's another thing is another piece of advice I've gotten from animators is like, if you go hard enough on this blocking phase, generally like you don't have to touch the graph at all. It's only for like certain specific things, like if you really need it to be, I don't know. Maybe with the graph editor for something like if I just wanted to handle transitions on like a major mass like the pelvis, sometimes it might be like, if this is like a bouncing ball animation, like the pelvis is basically a bouncing ball. Everything else is descended from that. That gets so complex that blocking everything out like this is ideal. But for the bouncing ball, something like this, like if this was a bounce, this can be done with essentially actually only 3 keyframes, or like only 4 keyframes, in which you then just modify the Bezier curves to create this.
One if you're not.
Yeah. Just do everything through a geometry nodes algorithm.
Well, no, they have bounce.
Oh yeah, you should literally just change the interpolation type.
Now for fun, what does it look like if everything is using bounce?
Key, interpolation mode. Bounce.
When they call me, they're gonna say, Al, what do you got? And I'm gonna tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did today was nothing.
That's scary.
Let's try elastic.
When they call me, you're gonna say, Al, what do you got? And I'm gonna tell them I ain't got nothing. Because you're nothing. What you did today was nothing.
To me, that'd be very intimidating.
It's not bad, it's style.
Yeah, I promise.
What do you got?
That's good.
So when they say spline, it just refers to graph editing.
It literally just means now the curves go soft and smooth.
So
The spline is basically a Bezier.
Yeah. And if there was something where like you did have it set to.
There are also splines in 3D, like we have like the Bezier curve in Blender is also spline.
But in animation, when they say I'm going to the spline stage.
Yeah, this is basically what they mean. And like maybe this is something where, as an example of where you go and get a little in the weeds on it, I can change the handle type on this one curve. Like this one curve is going nice and soft. I could break this.
Free.
And now, if I wanted, I could be like,
that's not free.
Maybe I have to like do each one.
No, did you have a keyframe selected or the? There you go. I think that's. Yeah.
So if I wanted something like that, a nice little open book. I don't even know what control this is.
Because you're not.
Yeah, see that? Like, so this is where I don't like quaternions. I think what we're seeing here is this bone. And like, the problem we're running into here is that because quaternions are sort of a mathematical interpretation of 3D space, when you start messing with the curves on quaternions, it doesn't make sense because if like my hips can move left and right, forward and back, and then what would be the twisting? If I break those, like that is a Euler-based sense, and you could see, like if I wanted this to be a pointy curve, I could change it, but changing that with quaternions breaks because it doesn't really know how to abstract those as separate axes. But anyways, that's blocking phase. Good stuff. All right, should we take a little break? And then let's switch gears.